Alright, what's up everybody? Welcome back. Before we get into the actual build, I just want to put a quick warning, disclaimer out there. This build has a lot of flashy lights. There's a lot of things going on screen, so if you're sensitive to that type of thing, be careful watching it. Click off the video if you have to. But yeah, I just want to put that out there because this build's got a lot going on. Now with that out the way, let's jump straight into the build. Now the legendary set that we're going to be using today for the actual build is going to be the Trigger Twitches set. Now what this does, it actually gives you a unique attack whenever you proc the set bonus. Now to actually activate the set bonus, you have to get crit shots with at least half of your magazine. So if you have a magazine of 6, you need 3 crit shots. And if you have a magazine of say like 40, 50, half of those have to be crits in order for you to unlock the attack. And the animation for the attack itself is really cool. I like it. It's kind of like John Wick. It's pretty unique to the game. Nothing else has that. But I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of hard to get it to activate on anything other than like an elite or a boss. The small guys, they just run around so much, it's hard to crit them. But the good thing is that the actual armor set is still good for damage. So even if you're not getting the perk to activate, you're still doing really good damage. And with my current gear, I have about 4 dead mods that I'm not using, or they're not really beneficial to the build. Like they are beneficial, but I'd rather have something else. So I'll put some recommendations up on the screen and actually go over the gear. But first I'm going to go over the actual weapon that I use in the build, well the main one I should say, and that's going to be the Bolt and Thunder. Now what this pretty much does is it shoots lightning everywhere and it links enemies. It shares a lot of damage. The first perk is String of Gauss. That links enemies, they all take lightning damage or electric damage, what it says there. And then I rerolled Nicola's Revenge on there. That also links enemies, they share damage. That's pretty good. Those two things together are kind of nutty. Sanctuary is pretty cool. It gives you like little protective spear around your body. That's what you see me running around with on the the background footage. And I don't really know if it's helping me stay alive. I'm pretty sure it is, but I think it looks cool. But it also kind of blocks out a lot of stuff, so I can't see when my the perk from the armor activates. So I would like maybe something like Fortress or like Bone Shrapnel on here because you are going to be getting a lot of crits. But this is actually pretty cool. I like it. It kind of goes with the theme of the build, so I'm not mad at it. Now the second pistol I was swapping back and forth between ad clear and boss battles, but I just kind of stopped using this one. That's the Torment Agony. It's got Judgment Enforcer, so whenever you reload, you do a lot of damage. And I rolled Deadly Disturbance on there, but I kind of just stopped using this. Just use whatever pistol you have that has good rolls, but the Bolt and Thunder is the way to go, hands down. And that's pretty much it for the weapons. Your primary and your secondary doesn't really matter because you don't use them. But let's move into the actual armor. And like I said before, we're using the Trigger Twitch set. And I actually didn't reroll anything on the helmet because high stakes is really good for getting crits. Whenever you roll, whenever you get 4 shots with your gun, then you roll, you're gonna get 3 seconds of 100% crit chance. That's really good to activate the perk. And then of course sidearm specialist, we're using sidearm, so you want that 12% flat damage. And it rolled under pressure here. I would like something else there. This is cool, like it's not bad, but it's definitely not the best. And like I said before, I've got about 4 dead mods, so I'm gonna put some recommendations up on the screen. So whenever you see the mod in the 3rd slot that doesn't go with the build, just hope you get lucky and plug in one of the ones on screen. So moving on to the chest piece, it's got Crazed Gunman in the 1st slot. Whenever you get crit shots with your sidearm, your crit chance goes up by 10%, stacks 5 times. That's really good for bosses, really good for elites, especially paired with the helmet. When you get 100% crit chance, that's really good. And then I rolled License to Heal on here. So whenever we activate our Fixin' Wave, we're going to get 4 seconds of infinite ammo. And we're also going to get 10% weapon damage. And the 3rd slot here is another dead mod. I'm not using it in the build. Replace it with something else. Hopefully you get lucky. And for the legs, we got Quick Iron, which is every 3 shots, your sidearm's going to instantly reload your clip. So whenever you get 3 crits, you're going to reload. Bonus is lost whenever you switch weapons or if you reload before you achieve the bonus. So pretty much you're going to be reloading as little as possible. Like you'll still have to reload, but you will be getting ammo back. You won't even really realize it. Like you'll just be shooting nonstop. And that's pretty cool. And also I rolled Self-Medication. Now this build is pretty squishy. Well, it was pretty squishy. Disclaimer, I was using 2 versions of this build. The first version was super squishy. The second version, which is the one I'm showing you guys right here, is actually way better. So a lot of the footage in the background is from, you know, the first version of the build, and then I swapped it. So the same thing applies to the background video. Everything's pretty much the same, except you have more health and you survive more. So if you notice some discrepancies between like the background footage and what I'm showing you guys right here, I recorded that before I tweaked the build some more. So there you go. And the third mod here is actually another dead mod. I don't have a shield, so this is pointless. So this is something else. Hopefully you get lucky, find something else better to go in this slot. Fingers crossed. Now moving on to the gloves and the boots. They're both Cannonball from the Cannonball set. I actually didn't roll anything off the gloves. This is pretty much a really good roll. This is almost perfect, or pretty much perfect. Radical Therapy is super good. If we had the tier 3 version, that would be better. Or, you know, Euthanize or something like that, because we are using blight rounds. As much as I hate them, they're really good for this build. So this is pretty much good. Now the boots, on the other hand, not so good. We got Sharp Eye in the third slot, which is super pointless. I would rather have something else here. And rule of thumb, when you're making a build in pretty much any game, you want percentages. You want to kind of stay away from flat bonuses, because you're usually going to get a bigger return if you have like a percentage. So Sharp Eye is something I would completely get rid of right here. But Phantom Dash is my favorite perk in the game. So that's why I actually chose the Cannonball boots, because this goes so good with the build. Like, it looks so cool. You got like the orb around you. You got red lightning on your hand. You got lightning flying everywhere. And then you're just dashing. Super cool. It also gets you out of trouble sometimes. So I would recommend these boots. And I rolled Breathe In on here because it gives you a quicker cooldown on your fixing wave. So that's really handy. And it also applies weakness. So, you know, more debuffs. Can never have too many. Now for the skills, we're going to be using Fixing Wave, Blighted Rounds, and Cold Snap. Now you can not use Cold Snap if you want to. You can put something else on there, but I didn't have anything else to slot in there, so I put Cold Snap, and you can't go wrong with Cold Snap. So on to the actual skill tree. It's pretty funky looking, like always. I don't know why my skill trees always end up looking super weird. But the main things that we're going to be grabbing here is weapon damage, the extra pistol damage node, and overclocked. That's pretty much all we want, and this is everything you need right here for the build. So if you want to read the other perks, you can swap out whatever you want to in those middle ones. But with that being said, we're gonna move on to the actual packs tree. Now, like I said earlier, I was using two versions of this build. The first version was a top tree packs tree build, but the one I would recommend using is the actual bottom tree. And I made a swap because I was just so squishy. I kept dying and I didn't know what to change. And then I just, looking at the trees, seeing like, what I could adjust. And then I saw the bottom tree. I was like, this is actually perfect for what I need. So now if you want to go top tree, that's fine. But I would say bottom tree is the way to go for this build. And the first node we're picking up is Undying. So every 5% of your missing health is going to increase your weapon leech. It's going to keep you in the gunfight longer, because if you're shooting stuff, you're going to be healing. The second node, Accelerator, is going to increase our weapon damage by 100% of our weapon leech, which is 40% at the moment. So that's just extra weapon damage. Then we're going to pick up Apothecary, of course, and this one is pretty unique. I like this one a lot. Every 5 seconds you pulse, and the damage you did in between each pulse, you're going to heal for 2% of all that damage. You're going to be doing a lot of damage. You're going to be getting a lot of heals. This is pretty nice. And then Biosync, your overheals are going to be converted to health regen for 3 seconds. I don't really see this one, but I'm pretty sure it's doing something in the background. And then last but not least, we got Kinetic Converter. This does, whenever you do a crit, you're going to heal the nearest ally for 20% of their max health. This includes you as well. And if it's an overheal, you're also going to receive 30% more weapon damage for 5 seconds, and that's on a 1 second cooldown. So this 30% damage is pretty much going to be up all the time. For the most part, they'll have to be like a little 1 second cooldown, but this is super handy. This is exactly what I needed to stay alive. But even before this, I wasn't really dying except to the arbiters inside the Tarrier guitar. And those dudes are super cheap to kill you when you're not even inside the red thing. I'm gonna make a whole video on those dudes because They're pretty annoying when you actually try to do the actual mechanics of the fight, or when you don't melt them within, like, you know, the first 10 seconds, but that's a whole nother rant video. I'll save that one for later. Now, when you're actually using this build, it's actually pretty simple to play, and everything kind of, you know, rolls together, you know, one step after another. The only hard thing, like I said before, is getting the actual perk to activate on, you know, smaller enemies. But what you pretty much want to do is just never stop rolling or gliding if you're using the boots. Never stop going for crits, and if you find yourself shooting for, you know, more than like 3-4 seconds without rolling, then you're doing it wrong. You want to be shooting and dashing, using abilities nonstop whenever you get them off cooldown, and just keep that up. You almost can't die. It's kind of crazy. It's pretty fun. Like, this is probably the most fun I've had with a build in the recent couple weeks. And I don't know if I actually mentioned it earlier, but to actually use the skill, once you get it to, you know, charged up, you just use your melee attack, and your guy will start doing spins, shooting in all different directions, and it does actually pretty decent damage, and it usually clears out all the enemies from around you. It's pretty cool to see. I had no idea what it was going to look like, but I like it. I hope they implement some more stuff like this. I hope there's more updates for this game in the future. That's a whole nother rant. I'm going off topic, but that's pretty much it for the build. I'm gonna put some gameplay up after this so you guys can see it, you know, in motion, like how it works. And I'm actually curious to see what this set looks like on another class, because I only play Technomancer. I do have a Devastator, like World Tier 15, like he's right at the start of World Slayer. But this set is a universal set, so you can use it on any class. You know, the mods will just be different when they drop. They'll be more for your whatever class you're using. So if you're using this armor set on another class, let me know how it works out. We know different skills, different class trees, different packs trees. Let me know in the comments. Hook a brother up, because I only have one character. And that's all I got for you guys today. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. My name is Alex. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, all the shenanigans, and I'll catch y'all next time. Peace. ゲームオーバーです。